he's requesting a little over $90,000 for construction project. He didn't really give me a lot of details, but I'm sure that you guys have all the information, but if not, I can get it.
Do y'all have any, do y'all have any questions about the aid to tribal government first? Anything that we need to make sure we go through? And is there anything on the aid to tribal government? We can just buy her folders. I mean, it's a one-time thing a year. It shouldn't be anything more than that.
Is that all she utilizes?
If it's for elders and children's clothing, it's just that. I mean, the paper can.
Yeah, that's all she wants it for, is for that, her children's clothing folders, because right now she just has it in a box, and they're not really safe. Our records, and
Is this the order she's wanting right here? Because it includes more than just folders.
yes,
She
doesn't just want
cartridges.
correct.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Ink and
Yeah, she
labels.
definitely needs supplies.
Like, we've already had children's clothing and elder payments once, so they can just use the same folders.
We're adding new people.
Yeah, but that's a lot of money. I've done children's clothing and elder payments, and
Well, I know
she has space in her filing cabinet.
she did purchase some new filing cabinets, and those are for her enrollment folders. And her children's clothing are in boxes. And her elder's payment, I'm not sure where she stores storage at. But like she has expressed to me that she's using her 638 funding to get supplies for tribal funding services. She's going to cover her boundaries.
and that's aid to tribal government. That's tribal government. But
That's
yeah.
fine. It's whatever executive committee wants to decide. I'm just passing on the information.
And their Pam, when she was back there, tribal government did buy file cabinets for children's clothing and elder payments, but I don't know like how full or anything they are. But she does have filing cabinets for them back there.
Any further questions?
Does she not have any of the funds from this particular,
Well, pet supplies, yeah.
but, so we budgeted exactly what was going to be used?
We just budget for the services, and like I said before, they just ordered. They just tell us we needed.
We were budgeted just for the services. There was no like extra that she could use to.
Yeah, we don't.
Buy
We didn't do anything with that. Yeah.
In her
Do we not have a main
But the
supply tribal government?
tribal government. That's what I said. Usually they just ask tribal government to buy really just the folders, the ink and stuff. Does she print to the big printer too?
She prints to her own printer, and I know whenever she has the applications and a lot of the bereavement, not bereavement, I shouldn't say, because usually that's not really demanding. But as far as for her children's clothing, there's a lot of ink that she says that she has used, and whenever people come to you get IDs or get request documents from enrollment, she still has she uses the same printer. And she says in here that I need to utilize those limited funds for enrollment only. The major cost for supplies is for the purchase of envelopes or mail-outs to include CCA and elders assistance applications, the mailing for checks, the printing of the envelopes, and of course the paper itself. In addition, all the applications need to be filed away so there are the filing supplies as well. I estimate it to be $1,000 per year. Should cover any office supplies for both programs.
Are you asking for approval?
I
For
want
what?
to know if the executive committee wants wants to give her a line item of tribal budget for her, children's clothing and her elder assistance.
I would just say she uses her aid to tribal government first, and then if she, after, I mean, because she just got new money, and just use that, and then if we need to put some at the end of the year, then we can, but this is one of the programs that bought the fancy paper, before, and so we just need to scale back on the, I mean,
Her
she's,
to buy her supplies with what she's got in there, and then when that's used up, then
Come back,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because if this was something that was ongoing, it should have already been brought to the attention, and a line item should have already been put in place for
Yeah.
office supplies if it was something that was dire year to year.
yeah.
Okay, that is fine.
And then, okay, now go to Gerald's.
Gerald's last day was today. He is requesting an extension of his employment. In the memo, it states exactly what he's needing additional funding for.
What kind of an extension is it? I mean, I don't see anything in there that says.
Yeah, and when I sent the email out to the executive committee, notifying that he was requesting an extension, I believe it said March, so that he could carry out and see the project to the end.
Well, they've already told us it's not going to be finished by March. They're projecting June. Don't you remember when they said they came here and they told us that it's got to sit for a month, and then they're going to put the exhibits in, and it'll be sometime after that. So
The building will actually be finished, should be by February 21st is expected. Yeah, it's the exhibits that's going to take the longest. And some of that is beyond their control. I mean, if we get stuff from the Oklahoma Historical Society, they only meet quarterly. So I think they meet in April, and then, you know, there's all this stuff behind the scenes that's got to be done. So what's your recommendation?
I really, I don't know how the executive committee, how this was handled previous before I got into the TA position. I don't, that's why I'm bringing it to you to get some guidance and how you would like to handle Mr. Collins' position, to extend it or not to extend it.
Is that 90,000 something that was already included in there? Or is it above what we already had approved for that building? And
I don't know. I haven't been involved
well,
in
that's a
what's
lot of
going on.
money too. It's $90,000, and we need to find out what it's for. It says
And
the project
Yeah, 'cause
construction
I was
and 3,000 for
thinking that
admin
when we put
costs.
the money in, all that, it would carry it through until it was done, and his tenure would end when the grant was done. Everything was completed.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
That's what I thought, but he's asking for additional funds.
Matt, do you have any questions?
I don't know if it's there or not.
Is he
Is
still
that
on
on
mute?
No, he's not on it. Matt,
Well,
It's breaking up there, but I said no. I was just listening to it, and I don't have any questions.
well, the 800,000 from the ICDBG grant has all been spent. And then the tribal funded, what we had budgeted, there's 198,000 left because we had budgeted 450,000. That's on top of the 800,000, and it says that there's 198,000 available. But again, we have an unrealistic budget for this year. This was based on us having a budget that exceeds the money we know will be available.
And this is due to the time span, the motel, and the museum of both have taken the amount of money that's involved in it. Would it be a good idea to have a look-see at exactly what where?
Exactly what?
A look-see to see exactly what pays for what. You know, how they-
We get copies of the statements from Builders Unlimited on both projects, and it's detailed in there as to what the expenses were each time we do a payment.
There's never been anything a little unusual or?
I don't know, we're not construction people. That's the other part of it. And it's been a concern we've had.
How far are we ready to open the motel?
They've told us around June. Or the motel?
Yes.
I think he said March, didn't he?
It's around March.
Sometime in March.
So do you have, I mean, what's your recommendation?
I really don't know, if we need Mr. Collins on the project to see us out, then, that is fine with me. If not, if you think that we can go on, finish the project without him, then, that's fine too. We're just gonna have to, assign someone to oversee
Well,
that.
we're paying the Corps of Engineers to
That's
be.
what I was gonna bring
We're
up.
paying him for that, and when we do meet here, Mr. Collins really hasn't added anything to the discussion. I brought this up previously that perhaps he could, since he's being funded on the tribe side, because we put $12,000 in for his salary already, that perhaps he could be doing some other activities, but Ms. Parton didn't seem to agree that that was appropriate.
I didn't say that. You got trouble administrator if they want to do something. I'm all for Gerald staying. We need somebody here that helps finish this project. There's like pay apps and keeping in contact with them and stuff that we got to have somebody here to finish that out at least
Well,
through
isn't
March.
that what that Rory guy is supposed to be
all
doing?
he does is come and do inspections. That's all he does. He comes and inspects whenever they do electrical,
And the
plumbing,
payments are all
everything.
processed through us.
Right.
And we've spent all the ICDBG money, so there's nothing else for there to be done on the ICDBG side.
But it's still trouble. You got to have. I mean, if things get flipped around and then you don't have anybody taking care of them, you really need somebody to finish this and close out. And they've got to close out the grant too.
Which we can close out in 6 months when it's completed.
Well, you're
See,
getting
so
rid of the
we've got
person that
6
has the
months. What
knowledge of
is he
it.
going to be doing during that 6 months since there's no more ICDBG money?
I didn't say 6 months. I said through March so that he can close out the project.
Well, the project isn't complete until it's open for business.
Well, he can close out the building. They're supposed to, at the very least, at least through the
But we're
1st of March.
still paying the contractor to do more work beyond just finishing the construction. There's more that's involved because we are also paying for them to do the design and the installation. That's part of our contract with them. That's part of the bid that we accepted.
Right, and that's what I mean.
And
There's
that's
still
what I'm
work
saying,
that's
it's
going to
not gonna be
continue.
finished till June. I don't know that we have enough work for him to be doing during that time to have full-time employment.
I didn't say through June. I said through March, so we can at least have somebody here that finishes out the building part. I mean, he really needs to finish that building part. The exhibits is a different thing. But after March, February, they're doing a walkthrough on the 7th and getting a punch list, and by the 21st, they should have everything done on the punch list. And then
Now,
there
see,
needs to
that's
be
the
a
kind
few
of
days.
information that if Mr. Collins was presenting to us, I might say it's more compelling, but it's coming from you, and you just said you don't have anything to do with it, but you're telling us all this information.
I'm saying the day-to-day stuff. We met with them today because there were certain things that needed to be done. We got some of that stuff done.
In all honesty, and UP, since he is my employee and I am his supervisor, I can tell you right now, I don't know what he does, where his status is on his project. That's not saying that he will not tell me, because if I ask Mr. Collins, he will, he'll communicate with me, no problem there. But as far as me coming into this position, I honestly do not know what's going on, but from what he gave me. There's many programs I have not sat down with, but, in his position on where we are with the culture program, I honestly can't sit here and tell you anything, because I don't know. But I'm sure if I asked Mr. Collins, he would tell me. But that's just getting that communication relayed from whatever the president may know or whatever Mr. Collins may know and informing me so I can be able to say, yeah, I know what's going on. Because as of right now, I don't know.
So there's no report submitted or anything?
Not since I've been TA, I have not seen a report from Mr. Collins.
We can tell you the same thing twice. Myself, $90,000, you gotta get you a good young guy who knows all about everything we're doing out here for third money. And, kind of, you know, we want to keep positions, but then.
What he's saying is this 90,000 is additional money for construction.
I tell you,
And so far, he says, we owe a balance of 337,000 to complete the contract. And then they want 90,000 on top of it, it appears.
That's why I was wondering if that 90,000 was something that was already included in that amount. And it was just something they wanted to draw right now, but I guess it's additional.
there's several issues I brought up, Mr. Collins. We got that, there's no respect in, but, there were several issues that should have been done along the projects there, that was brought to him, but he never, I know for a fact he committed there, but I heard of it. You know, I went there from the school, nobody encounters nobody else, but, you know, personally, you know, I like him as well as anybody, respect him as well as anybody, and always have, always will, but, you know, that's all I see with me personally, I don't know.
I'd like to see him finish this project out.
Huh?
I'd like to see him finish this project out, at least through March, at the first of March.
If he did his job, the project wasn't finished now.
He doesn't-
Well, you know, one of our criticisms has been failure to find a creative solution. So I would like to open up the discussion on what if we kept Mr. Collins for on part-time basis, you know, 2 days a week.
He'd be better off drawing unemployment. I mean, he would.
So you're gonna make that decision for him?
No, but I'm just saying he'd be better off drawing unemployment.
It's really the committee's decision on how you want to handle this.
I really just recommend y'all carry through the 1st of March, and then the project will be, the building will be complete. He can finish out any reports and stuff like that, and finish all the pay apps and get all of those completed.
I like the idea of 2 days a week. I don't think that there's sufficient work for him to be full-time.
Please do something real fair.
I think he is an elder that's brought a lot of money into this tribe and done a lot of projects for this tribe. He's done the social services building, the health building, the FDPR building, the child development center, the travel plaza. He's done a lot of stuff, and I'd like to see him finish this project out. This will probably be his last project.
Every project he's done has a problem and still has problems.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who does what. There's going to be certain people that people gripe about all the time. He's done a great job. I'm sorry. He has done a great job for this tribe, and that's the very least that we owe him, is to let him to finish this project out.
Yeah, do a check with 20, 30 years out here, and that's not gratitude. You know, we're overlooking a lot of stuff, and, you know, let's all see.
I heard you mention that on the 21st that we finished with something. What about if we say at the end of February, then he could have his reports done and close it out by then?
Well, yeah, I'm at
And
1st
then-
of March.
And then be finished with it, and
So
that
February
would be it.
28th.
Y'all
Should be
agree?
done by
I
then. I
just,
agree.
I mean, I guess it would be fair all the way around, but then by then maybe he could have everything closed out, and we could close it out.
Do you want to make that motion to keep
Yes,
him
I'll
on?
make it.
Shirley, motion to keep Gerald on until February 28th.
Second.
Matt, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried 4, 0, and 2 with Nasi and Vanessa abstaining.
My vote will carry again.
No, sorry, not during this meeting.
I thought our resolution says 15 voters, we will keep fair and apply the same.
This is executive committee meeting.
It's not a tribal council meeting, it's an executive committee meeting.
All right,
And the yellow tab is where, as we know, we have our after-school program coordinator or assistant that position is open. Well, in the past, it's always been under juvenile service program director. And I met with HR and brainstormed, and I also suggest that it be a separate position for the after-school program and the summer program that that's going to be coming up. And the reason for that is because Mandy is our juvenile service director. She tends to children who are in, who are in juvenile services. And they take a lot of her time. She sees them through with court or with counseling, whatever it may be. And the after-school program has taken from her regular duties, from her normal duties as the director of juvenile services. And we can still have this program, but I'm suggesting that we make it separate from the juvenile services, and either make it a tribal youth program director or coordinator. So that person has complete dedication to the children who come here after school, and could actually develop a program for them in the summertime.
Yeah, but,
Maybe we can even get, that could,
9 months out of the year, and then how long to go to school? About 9 months. They're only here till after school. They're only here after school.
yeah, it's not.
So is it a
required
full-time
to be
position?
No, it doesn't have to be. But I believe that we need somebody in that position to make sure that they're attending to the kids.
We've got 2 places up there for kids, the after-school thing and that other daycare thing. So we would just be paying for an extra person to come in to babysit, might as well say. When this program first started, it was said that each department would take them for 30 minutes a day. That's when it began. And I voiced my opinion then, saying that they wouldn't always have time for them. And it lasted maybe a week, 2 at the most. And then they didn't have time, so they just started kind of shifting them to one to take care of them all the time. And, it didn't work out. And I didn't think it would. I mean, it was given a chance. But to me, it's just providing a daycare for employees out here. And I don't think it's fair. We always say fair. Well, that's not fair either. There's others that have to pay for daycare. So why not people that's working out here earning money from the tribe? That's my opinion.
So either we can continue it being as the assistant under the juvenile service director, but I suggest that we make it its own little department.
Or dispense with having an after-school program altogether. Is what you're saying, right?
I think the later two, that's what it needs to be.
And
What's that?
The latter two is what it needs to be. Either do away with it or find somebody else to do it.
well, the other issue is we don't have any guidelines for it.
I mean, that's
We
what
had that
I'm-
discussion before,
Yeah.
that we're not following any kind of health standards, child care standards, supervision standards, because generally, if you're going to have children, there's generally policies, which I'm sure we have at the other program, where you have to have a ratio of students to adults and age groups and have an appropriate curriculum. Or is it just daycare, or are we trying to teach them something? And that's where I think it's become very cloudy as to what is the purpose. Is it just to provide after-school care for employees?
It was supposed to be for Wichita, and I really don't know how many actual employees have their kids that go there.
Mandy told me that the majority of her children that are there are employee children. And the reason, what I really like to see if we keep this program is it needs structure. And meaning that, and I've heard, and I think even Miles has mentioned it before, do we have tutors? Well, I believe in these kind of programs, after-school programs and youth programs, but in order to be work and effective, especially for your kids and beneficial to your children, you need structure. And I think, like, going back to what Miles said, do we have a tutor? There's things that, our children always need tutors. And I think that we need to really lay something out in writing, to
And
get
is
this
it-
program started.
Is it all ages?
As far as I know, it is school-age children.
So they don't take infants or
No.
toddlers or anything like
No.
that? It's just school-age children?
School-age children.
And it was supposed to be,
Reach out after school.
and it was supposed to be that it's our Wichita kids that come out here and learn something cultural, something about the tribe and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm not sure what's all happening with that, but
And there's some, they do activities, play games. I know there's not any, so,
There's no real curriculum?
correct, there's no structure.
And there's no real structure, and
No.
there's nothing that really says
There's
what the
not a lot of
purpose.
emphasis on cultural.
Yeah.
but instead of getting rid of it, why not, you brought it up, it needs to be done, let's get it done so that we can offer it and not turn those kids away from the tribe. I mean, you want them to be able to come out here and know who they are, know that they're Wichita, and be proud of who they are, and that may be their only memory of the tribe is actually coming out here and being around. But instead of just doing away, let's get it structured like it needs to be.
Well, and again, you say we want to be able to serve all tribal members. How
Well-
is that helping tribal members that don't know about the program, the availability? Are we going to open it up to others where
I
they
mean,
know about
but-
it?
But then let's put some money into it and get that information out there.
I can say, when I worked here, we had children that came, that their parents did not work here. They were Wichita children,
Mhm.
their parents did not work here.
I can name a bunch of them.
And pick them up at the end of the.
Well, we only funded it with $50,000.
Mhm.
We've got 37,000 left for the rest of this fiscal year, based on a budget, an unrealistic budget,
And
again.
how many children does it serve?
I don't know.
Currently, do
And-
you know
and
how many children are there?
Maybe 15.
There's over 20 that
And I
come
want
in.
to also express the problems that has occurred. For instance, Mandy, there was this family that she was trying to get them to bring their child in to be a part of her services because this child really needed the services. And when she first began as director, she's been on this family, and families are kind of reluctant about putting their children in juvenile services for whatever reasons. And for instance, her employee couldn't come in for whatever reason. So then the day that she actually, for months and months, she's been trying to get this family in, she had to stop what she was doing and come in after school she had to come back to work. And instead of meeting this family to make this child a part of her juvenile services, stop that, cancel that meeting, and then go attend to the after-school program because those children were waiting on her and other people that we get from other programs to sit with the children, diabetes, or even maintenance has sat with the children. They were all doing their job duties. So then it really took from her main her services. So that's another reason why I suggested being taken out from under her program.
And it shouldn't.
It shouldn't happen that way.
Just
And
like
we had-
the other day when she was sick or something, she left, and then you're talking about all these programs and people out here want to help, but nobody was to be around, found or nothing. And she's, I
With
don't,
20 kids, it takes more than one person.
Exactly.
And that's a safety, that is definitely a safety,
everybody's
issue.
talking about kids and this, but, when it comes down to it, they weren't willing to step up the other day.
So, and that was a concern for, the director did express to me because she really was working on this child in her case, and the fact that she had to cancel it to go to after school, it really did bother her because she's very passionate about what she does, and she does help a lot of children.
So do they provide them with snacks and things like that? Because I didn't see anything in the budget that covers things of that sort.
From what I understand, Juvenile Services has utilized their funding to supplement after-school programs. Not all the time, not every week, but in the past they have supplemented it with snacks.
You gotta have snacks.
Yeah. Snacks. So they're using their 638 funding for that also.
You just look around at all these other tribes that have programs for their kids and stuff. And I know we have the Readiness Center and the Child Development Center, but those are, they're different than having your own kids out here.
And other tribes apply for grants that have those programs, because
And
there's
that-
funds
and
through Department of Justice, Department of Education,
So let's apply for
Administration for
grants.
Children and Families, what?
So let's apply for some
And they
grants.
have
Well, let's hire a grant writer to do it.
And they have everything set up too before they start all this.
Exactly, they have the policies because they have to follow
Maybe that's what we need to
procedures.
do is, put it on hold until we can.
That's right, yeah, not a canceling the program, but postponing the program while we develop rules and regulations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because there does need to be stuff developed. There needs to be,
Curriculum,
a curriculum, but also a student-staff ratio. There needs to be medical, releases, medical,
Nutrition,
Yeah.
transportation policies.
yes, all that, because you might have a kid that's allergic to something and you're giving out snacks. Because you're buying snacks that come in bulk so that you can feed 20 kids. And what if one of those kids get a hold of something that they're allergic to?
Well,
And
I was
anymore, you can't afford to everything.
trying to show the kids some different plants, and I said, stay away from that tree. I said, it has poison oak. What do? Go climb the tree. You know, and again, when there's only one person and you got 15 kids,
You can't watch them
Well, why
all.
don't-
Really?
Why can't we put more money into it, make it a bigger program? I think Comanches have like 75
We
kids in
couldn't
their
even put
program.
money in our enrollment to buy supplies, so.
Right.
No, I'm not, I wouldn't,
We
it wasn't,
just pick and choose, I guess.
no, it
for
wasn't
all
that,
of us.
it's just because I know that, I've worked in that program, I know it does, we don't need $1,000 for supplies.
Terry, once again, I'm going to point out we have an unrealistic budget. Our budget's more than twice of what we can project as possible income for this year. We can't just be
There's ways to cut
pulling
the-
money
there's
out
ways
of
to
the
cut the budget,
sky.
too.
You say there's ways to cut the budget, but when you're presented, I'm not dogging little kids, but when you're presented with a program that is underfunded, understaffed, and
No guidelines.
They're
no
not funded at all.
guidelines, and not really serving the purpose that the original content was meant to do. And you suggest doing away with that, saving that money, because, you know, the program is not doing as it should be. You don't want that done either.
Well, let's fix it, let's get it, fix it, instead of just doing away with it.
Well, which program should we get rid of so that we can take care of the kids?
I'm not saying we have to get rid of a program, I mean, we have money, we're not broke.
No, but
but here's the thing, we're gonna have to, eventually, we're gonna have that balloon payment come down. We've gotta keep in mind that we've got future expenses coming. We're gonna have to leverage that money that we have in savings right now to get a better loan, a real loan. That's why I'm just dead set against cashing in any of the CDR accounts, pulling any money that we don't have to from the tax commission, the sports commission, the cell tower, because I know that we're going to have some money down to get into a real loan that's not predatory lending.
Can we,
How we pay this loan?
The way it was set up, it was anticipated that every 4 years or however many years when that balloon payment comes due, that we would again refinance with Mr. Wright. He's got it set up to cover 35 years and have it reassumed every time that balloon payment comes into play. And that's my concern, because our balance may be right about $3 million right now, but by the time that balloon payment comes necessary, it's going to be at 4.4 million, because we are not even covering the interest on the loan. And that's a concern I have, because we really do need to get a true financial loan, a real loan. That loan right now is at 7% interest, variable up to 9%.
should be 2, 3/4, 3, 3.5 max over that period of time?
Well, especially when you have assets to pledge.
So, as a treasurer, are you working on that?
Terry, you know good and well, I cannot approach any financial institution without the approval of this board here.
Well, I'm just asking if you even looked into it as a treasurer.
I have talked to people, yes, I have.
Vanessa, I'm gonna make a statement real quick to everybody. When this deal first come on the table,
to the tribe about Danny in general. Everything about Danny, his wife, his daughter, the whole, everybody, even our William Norman. At that time, the price has increased $3.3 million and nothing has been added. Nothing. So, but nothing, I'll get back to my point. The point was, I told Danny this, take it to them at this price and see what they say. That's asking price. Anybody's going to come down on asking price. You don't go buy a new car and without trying to do them. Asking price was 2.1 on the motel. Okay? And I told him, anything you get in front of his lawyers, in front of several billionaires, several millionaires, and witnesses, anything you get beyond that point is mine. He agreed. I'm not pursuing that, but I don't think he can't be taken to court. Okay? That's a breach. It's an aid and abetting. I don't care how you treat that. And his brand new law he's got, and he's going to fit, is statesmanship.
All right, Audrey.
Can I make a motion to table this
Yeah. Miles motion to table the juvenile services.
and to get
program.
some cost or numbers on what it's going to cost to,
The
and what,
after-school program.
yeah, and where we can pull it from, if there's any money available.
I think we need to look at how many children it serves and then a cost per child too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Audrey, you gonna get the cost and how many it serves and what else?
And where we can find the
And
extra
funds?
money from.
Also,
That way we can get a better idea of what we need to decide on what to do.
it's the position is advertising as the assistant to the juvenile services director. Should we take that from, just suspend that advertisement
Yeah,
until we figure out what we're gonna do?
Or she don't need help in that program.
She needs help.
well, she needs
Well,
help,
she needs
but
help, and she needs to be assigned someone to be backup.
Yeah, she does need help. There are other programs. I know Robin White from Special Diabetes is assisting her a lot with that, with her after-school program. The other day, the maintenance guys would help. So she's trying to get as many people as she can to help her when she's in court with other children.
I'm concerned about assigning people that are funded under federal programs, but we have a lot of employees that are covered under tribal funded.
So we need to go ahead and advertise for that position.
It's already,
Continue to advertise.
yeah, they're already advertising, so just continue.
yeah.
I have a motion by Miles to table the juvenile, or the after-school program, and the TA will get cost, how it serves, how many it serves, funding. Can I second? Jesse second. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, abstentions, motion carried 6-0-0.
Terry, I'm going to suggest this is strictly the question I have, just on what I know personally, and heard very recently. I want to take a peek at this museum over there and the motel up there with my people, personal friends, know the business, but more than that, go to. Y'all have a problem with that? Does anybody have a problem with that?
Their construction sites, so just, I don't know that you should be in there. If you want to call over there and call me, and one of us, somebody will go over there with you, just so nobody can say anything. I don't mind that. All right. All right, thanks.
Okay, and the red tab is just showing you guys that we did get sub award for the Good Health and Wellness grant. That is going to be under Special Diabetes. Robin White is the director of that. We did get the funding, I believe it's $15,000. Yes, $15,000. So I just wanted to provide you with that information. We've had it before, so we'll continue with that.
Okay.
Any questions?
I need a water.
She also has been covering for the gym hours since sometimes the health coordinator or the health
Fitness.
fitness coordinator, she's been out. And she has put in her resignation for 2 weeks. Misty Washington,
I'll let you know.
and she manages the gym. So we're going to be having that position available. Well, in the meantime, Robin has been the go-to to watch the gym till 7. So here we are again with other employees. We're utilizing them in other areas, and they've gone. They've been really cooperative. So, but Misty's position, the gym coordinator, her direct supervisor is the CHR director. And because part of her salary comes out of CHR. So that may be another, something we may revisit in the future. Do we want to keep it under CHRs? Do we want to make it its own? Do we want to put it under Robin? There's other.
We have a organizational chart amendment that has the health services administrator. Breezy's given it to me. She got it to me a long time ago. But we haven't ever hired that person, so we haven't brought it in here to approve it until we get somebody hired, because we don't want to change it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then every single person down there is under that health administrator.
Okay, well, that's fine too, so, all right. I
And
didn't know that.
what department supports the gym?
The CHR,
Fitness center.
Yeah.
but Robin's been,
But it falls to Robin to keep it open if the person there.
even Fran, the director, has been watching, keeping the gym open till 7 sometimes.
Was it Monday through Thursday till 7?
Till 7.
But probably that person that gets hired needs to understand that's going to be their schedule, 10 to 7, and that's their responsibility. Because I think the other one that was getting used down there was getting taken all over the place and not.
Yeah, she was even doing transportation.
Yeah.
And that too, again, is troublesome because that's not in her job description. That Washington, Misty.
That brings me up something. I don't remember. When Betty, we were talking about the vehicle policies. Betty Colley used to work here. She used to do every year at the first of the year. They would do driver's license checks on all the employees to make sure everybody's got valid driver's license, because people's expires, and we've been talking about that, or get suspended, or something like that, and it helps people know that their driver's license are up. But yeah, so I think it costs $1 for them to run those driver's license checks, and then it makes sure that all the employees that are hired here, if there's a requirement for a driver's license, that they have that driver's license.
Who do I call for the contact?
Maybe just get them through the tag agency. She used to just send a list of names, and I think they paid $1 a piece to get their driving records and to make sure that they have their driver's license. Because many of them, the staff here, that's a requirement to have those.
Okay, so I just want to pass the information along that we did get that grant.
I couldn't take it.
The Blue tab, Amber has helped me with the proposal for the bid for the IT. And this is only a draft. I'm giving you this information to see what you would like to add, take away. And the second page shows the detailed work that we're requiring, but I believe we also do, it needs to be more.
But from what I had spoken with other people who've done requests for proposals on this scope, they said that identifying how many actual workstations and how many sites they'd be monitoring and things like that might be something you want to put in there for them too, so that they realize exactly how much they're biting off, and that they may want to split their proposal, like send it out as one RFP, but make it 2 parts, because part of it is kind of more of an assessment and an evaluation of what we have and what we need to do to get it where it needs to be. And the other part is ongoing service and maintenance. And since one is based more on the totality of the work and then the other one's more of an hourly type of situation that may want to be proposed in two separate ways. Now, when I was discussing this with a contact at the regional office who does a lot of these types of bids, they said that most of the time on this type of bid, they actually hire someone to write the RFP because it's more, but then the person that writes the RFP can't put in for bid, you know, because they would try to exclude. But they said that you want it to be written more in the language and more in the fashion that would solicit more competitive bids. And that if we don't have somebody that knows exactly how to do that, then we might not get as much competitive bid.
Do you want time to review this? Or to see if there's anything else you want to add, or do you want to approve it
I know at the
tonight?
very least, I feel like we should add how much they're getting, I mean, how many sites they've got, because that's information that I didn't know for sure. Are they monitoring? Because like one of the details was, do they monitor the state card system at the daycare? That was one of the issues we had with industry systems. They didn't know if that was within their scope. And is that part of what we're asking of them? Are they supposed to be handling third-party vendor type of situations like that too? You know, and I can't fall back on what we've asked industry systems to have because we don't really have a scope of work for them either. So,
And there's stuff,
and I don't even know how many exact stations we've got at each site.
and there's stuff related to debit cards and stuff like for the POS system
Yeah,
back there
like,
with the gift shop that
is
needs to be
that part
included in here.
Needs to be in there, you know, like that Clover or whatever we've got.
So y'all want to review those?
Yeah.
And when will we discuss this?
Well, you know, what she was saying about getting someone to actually draft up the RFP, I think that might be,
And that's what
I
was
think that might be
suggested to me.
necessary because and again, like she said, if we could get somebody who's willing to do the RFP and won't be bidding against it, at least we'd have, you know, that information there and someone who could put this in a format so we know what we're getting out of it.
Company or individual?
I don't know, we're looking for a
She
company
said
or?
that- She said that IT work is considered a commercial standard off-the-shelf type of product, so any individual or company should be able to do that as long as they're certified and know what they're doing. So if somebody owns a small business that does IT type of situations, then they should be able to handle it, or we could go to someone like industry systems.
Or like an individual, and they could just be out
But then
here.
they wouldn't be able to bid on their
24/7.
own RFP.
Well, they could do a
because it would
bid.
be-
Kind of be like
Yeah,
what
it
Homer
would be
does at
seen
the
as
casino,
them
right?
writing it in order to
Yeah.
get their own bid.
Yeah, they could do it. I mean, they could not be, they wouldn't necessarily have to be employed here with the benefits and stuff. We could do a contract with them and do it part-time or something that would cut down some of the
Well,
costs.
she said they usually just do it as a flat fee.
Yeah, kind of like
And
industry
that's the
systems, yeah.
contract for a flat fee of them.
I thought we were looking at somebody more out here.
It doesn't take them very long,
Like a
but
company?
Just
Or
somebody
to
here.
stay here?
Just to have an IT person,
Mhm.
like to have.
Yeah,
An in-house IT person?
yeah.
I'd be in favor of that,
I would
definitely.
too, and I've been saying that for a
We
long
Mhm.
time.
we really need an in-house IT with everything. I
But-
mean, it-
Because we're gonna get this, it's gonna be the same situation
Mhm.
right now. I mean,
So should
But
we,
we still need this original assessment of the networks, of the computers, of the skill levels and things like that that are kind of addressed in the first part. I think that's more of a second part that I was talking about, like the ongoing service maintenance part.
well, couldn't we find somebody who has the capability of doing the assessment and,
Yes, but that would be put into a position description showing that they would be doing that initially. And then that person could not only do the ongoing service and maintenance, but could provide needed employee training in different
Mhm.
areas.
and could help us as we build the network we need? a responsive network.
But we're gonna have to pay the salary for it, and we're gonna have to pay the fringe benefits and stuff, so you're looking
Well,
at
that's what I'm
60.
saying. We're sitting there paying this company all this money, we're not getting anything when we could just be paying that individual.
But we pay them 22 something a year, and you're gonna get jumped to 60,
33.
60, 70 something.
We had it budgeted for 33,000, and then that doesn't include all the additional stuff we have to pay when they do.
Right, but you gotta pay the
Hire
additional
somebody
stuff.
as, well, never mind.
You gotta pay the additional stuff regardless, whoever you hire. I mean, even if you have somebody here, if they need a computer or something like that, you're gonna have to buy that regardless.
But I think because of our lack of security, our lack of responsiveness, not having a level playing field across the programs, I think it's needed. I think it's something we
What
need
if-
for our infrastructure.
What if we hired like a company and then just had somebody here, and not, like I don't know what you would call it. Something like that, but, I don't know.
Well, now, when we have a relationship with Guernsey, and I could be wrong, but I believe they still do this. They can go in and consult, take a look at a business's infrastructure, and let you know what things need to be upgraded, what things need to be implemented, and give you a report based on what you currently have.
I don't think Guernsey does that type of work. They're more, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they're more infrastructure for like roads and water lines and gas lines, stuff like that.
Well, maybe it's a different, CH Guernsey is what I'm talking about.
That's it. That's the same thing.
Yeah, they used to do that as little as 4 years ago, so I don't know if they still do. I mean, they even built websites. So.
I could be wrong.
However
So-
you want to do it, we direly need an IT, whether we get a company or have it in-house, because it really does put a strain on our daily work when we can't download something, or we can't get access to something, or we're needing to look at, documents on Navport, and we have to, it is definitely challenging when we have these problems. And sometimes we're questioning each other, like, is it me? Am I not doing something right? Or, what's the problem? And a lot of times it always falls back on is our system here. And it does put a big strain on our daily work. And it's very frustrating, And we question, did we do it right? Did this done? Or how come I can't open this? Sometimes when we open up a document to Navport, when I'm approving RQs, I have to hit a space bar at the bottom, and not space, but a tab at the bottom before I can actually open up the document, and that takes about 2 or 3 minutes per RQ, and it's but it's
Slows
hard.
down the process.
So what do you want to do with this? Which direction do you
Well,
want to
what
go
I
with
was
it?
thinking is, we've started with something here, and I think it's understanding what we're asking for. We're wanting someone to come in and do an analysis and give us an idea of what it's going to cost to get us up to where we're operating at capacity, and then provide the support. And I know you're wanting to have someone who's available here, but it could be built into their bid. See, so that they could, be on call, or they could, have, kind of like we have with industries, but I'd want to have something specified. See, and even industries could apply, but we need the basic document for the RFP. And I think we should hire someone to draft the document. Someone who understands, who can do a walkthrough and develop the RFP.
Because they're gonna look at where we're
I don't know,
lacking,
but we
and gonna
could-
know how to word it, and
Mm-hmm.
where we wouldn't know how to do that.
Could you contact the Bureau and see if they could recommend somebody? I think that would, yeah, see if she can find someone interested in doing that and get us an idea of what it costs. And then get back to us next week, because we are meeting again next week, right?
Yeah, we got Builders Unlimited at 5:30 then.
Okay. So if you can find us a name and get, maybe make some phone calls and see what they're saying.
And the last, the green tab is just showing you, giving you guys information on what jobs are available, so that you guys know what's going on, and there's several positions open if you know any tribal members who fit these positions, if they send them our way.
And these are closing.
Yes, it has to close dates.
We
Tomorrow
contact
and this week.
Did we contact that guy on health services?
When does this one close?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Do you know if there's any for the health services position?
Yes, there's in there for the health service, the admin.
Is there any applications yet?
Oh, if there's any applications turned in or left?
No.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't have any idea who's applied for that so far. So I will find out. I'll
It
send you
closes
an email
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Did we contact that guy?
No, we didn't contact him yet. I would just make a recommendation if we don't have any other qualified applicants that we go ahead and offer it to him.
If he'll take it. He's not in his mind.
Okay, so I'm going to send an email notifying the executive committee of who applied.
Whether we've received
And if he
applications.
received
in there.
application.
Do y'all want to make that motion? That if there's no other, if she sends that and there's no other
Qualified applicant.
qualified applicants, that we go ahead and offer it to that other guy?
Which one? We had two.
Yeah.
We had two that applied for TA. There was Stanbridge, and what was the other guy's name?
Pickering.
Barry Hill or something.
Yeah.
Juvenile Service Program Director. Is that not?
No, that's an assistant.
Yeah, it says Juvenile Service Program Director.
Make the motion to that one.
He
Does
did.
it say who they report
The
to?
guy that applied that.
No,
What
this
about
is-
the Pickering?
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
supervisor. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
yeah.
Can't remember his name.
the job description.
Okay. I
Can't remember his name.
Thank you. All right.
I know, I did the same
Oh, I
thing.
was gonna say, gosh.
I have a motion by Jesse to,
I'm very blank.
I have a motion by Jesse that if, after you email those applicants, if there's not one qualified that we want to interview, that we go ahead and offer it to the first guy that we interviewed, and I can't remember his last name, and I don't
The
want to say it
first
right
guy
now.
or the second guy?
The first guy,
First
not,
First guy.
Stephen
the one that applied
Lansbury.
housing.
Lansbury.
Yeah.
Barry.
You have a second?
Second.
Shirley, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carried, 5-0-1, Nazi abstained. And
Okay, and I didn't get to this in my packets, but I did talk to Jesse about Kathy Hogan. She's wanting to relocate her offices to, I think I have 1516 Mission Street. She wants to house all her department offices there. It's $700 a month. She did tell me that she has provided information to the executive committee.
it's in the packets.
Yeah, it's in the
Oh,
packet.
it's in the packet?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, our packet.
you're
In
in
our packet.
Okay.
The one that, the Apaches have two, Apache Tribe has two, the one in between the, where their logo is and that, clinic. That's the one that's coming open.
This is out there by y'all.
Yeah, it's right next door to it.
And so it's $8,700 for a 12-month period.
And I guess he wants it up front. I think that's what she put in there, didn't she?
Yeah.
I guess he's giving her a break if she pays it. He's in advance. So I'm fine with you doing that.
That would be moving her program out there to that location,
To where?
out there by WCIDC office.
Where the Apache Tribe is, because they got both buildings. Where they're letting the one that doesn't have anything on it go. That's the one.
And where's she got to? Over here?
Then what we talked
Who all's
about,
gonna move?
huh?
Who all's moving?
It'd be her and her assistant, and she's got two positions down there. That one where Marlon moved from, and then that one where Eda was.
So it's
Three of them. Yeah,
3 offices that's gonna open up?
yeah, in that building.
And where's it at?
Over there, on Mission.
But where?
you know where the clinic is? That new clinic they put in? That,
And
right
that
next to
bottom
it.
thing?
Yeah, right next to it.
Bottom strip, because I thought I
Where are
was
they
that.
moving?
Well, Apache's
Just
got
because
two
we
of
were
them.
talking about needing more
They
space.
got two, but they're letting
And while
one
we was
go,
talking
so
about
that's the
moving
one
them
she's
out
gonna
there
go to.
to like the
Is
readiness
there-
center or the CCDF program,
One section has several offices.
but there's
within it.
just not a lot of
If you
room.
want them, you'll go get.
Should be
Because that's
closer
what they
out
did
there.
with that one,
Huh?
you put those walls in for their offices for that
It's
clinic.
$8,700
Well, that
year
ours is just open like this.
for the office
with the
space.
bathroom. And we put little dividers so they're on the other side when somebody walks in. But if they want to put the offices in there, they'll put the offices in
How long is their contract?
12 months.
for 12 months. That's why
I have a
she's
copy
giving
of
them a
the
break.
lease agreement.
If they pay for it in advance, a year in advance, she's giving them a break.
And that comes before us each time they renew that lease.
We would just do it for a 1 year period, yeah, yeah.
And they just renew every year.
But hopefully WTIDC get their offices done.
Is that where they're gonna go?
Yeah, they were gonna, if we build office space, that's where she's gonna move to,
The one downtown?
probably. If we can get it.
How long is that looking at?
Huh?
How long is that looking?
It'll be a while, cause we got
Year?
legal paint and asbestos we gotta get rid of.
If y'all want to consider this, I'll email y'all that lease. I didn't email it out because I don't know if y'all wanted to do this or not, but
She's asked.
Well, what is, what's wrong with their current office, or is there,
it's just overcrowded. Like right now, like Marlon had was using one for ICW casework, and they actually need another caseworker down there.
okay,
He was in one office, and then she's got another person that really doesn't have an office. So they need the space down there.
oh, okay. I think, well, I knew she had mentioned,
Oh, you got the
moving
contract,
offices before, when they were talking about the Chinese place, so, that's what, I was just curious
I'm
what.
gonna email
what
it
the
to you. I'll
issues were.
email it to you for next.
Just a little,
If y'all want to consider, I'll email it and then we can approve it next.
next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
You got that too?
Is there an extra agenda for today's meeting?
All right.
And I did have a staff meeting with Teen Youth Suicide Prevention and their surveillance program, just to see what each person does, what their scope of work is, what they do when they don't have clients that come in who are seeking services. And it was really, I mean, it was great. I felt good about it. They felt good about it. And they welcome you guys to come, any of the executive committee, to come in and visit with them and talk about their program. So they did create these. I told them I wanted something condensed, but they ended up really going for giving you guys all the information. And this is the projects, I do have in here the projects that will be implemented with their carryover funds. They have their descriptions, their community readiness assessments, how they will be going out into the community, seeing if the community knows about their program, their advisory board, how they pick their advisory board. They created an anti-bullying curriculum and what they use into the schools. They've already used it once in their high school, and yeah, this is part of it also. So I will pass that out to you for your reading. If you guys need more reading to do, and you guys just have all the time in the world.
Thank you.
I'll get you one. And what I did not include in there is their reporting schedule of when they have reports that are due, because, you know, they also have reports that need to be done. But I will include that and give you guys a copy of that. They're very eager. They were pleased that I came down. Sometimes I think they express that they feel neglected, or no one knows what they do. It shows in the carryover how they did split up the carryover and how it will be used throughout the years. So know sometimes we don't always know what our programs do.
I was kind of pleased the other night that this program was useful or helpful or whatever, you know, so it was, somebody actually used it.
Absolutely, I think the Wichita and Affiliated Tribes is very fortunate to have this grant, very fortunate. It's also sad too that we need it in our area, in this area. But they are more than willing to meet with the executive committee a few times and schedule that.
All right.
But I just wanted to provide that information to you all. And did we want to?
We need to go in executive
Okay, we
session.
need to go into executive session.
Yeah,
Speak about personnel matter.